One character in Overwatch that I've seen be quite the hot button is a guy that I've been trying quite a bit to improve my skills in and take full benefit of helping the team in Lucio. Of course, everyone has known since the beta. This isn't some groundbreaking commentary describing, "Oh, go play Lucio." Uh, Everyone has known it that's playing it for a long time that he is a very strong character and extremely strong with a skilled, very communicative team, and that is the max benefits you have with a team that communicates and a team that sort of bunches, not so much bunches up, but a Lucio that stays mobile and a team that stays within a decent proximity of each other to take advantage of the numerous benefits that Lucio gives. Like in this case, he has the proximity healing. When you use crossfade to switch to the healing mode, you stay within 30 meters, and I think sightline and the number, of course, right in the center of the screen that tells you how many of your teammates will get the benefit of. You take advantage of crossfade. You can flip between healing your teammates and making them more mobile. Mobility helps when you're trying to escape a situation that isn't advantageous to your life, or if you're losing a particular battle and you happen to be near Lucio or Lucio himself. You can use, of course, his weapon isn't that great, the sonic amplifier. I think it does 16 damage a shot, so it's not very good. The thing is, it doesn't arc, so it is a straight line. You can spam the hell out of it, and I would highly advise you to spam it. His alternate fire for the sonic amplifier is the one that bumps you back, so this works extremely well if you're facing like a close proximity character, like a Reaper trying to close ground on you. Just bump him away and flip the crossfade to speed. You can get away from him, get out of that situation that isn't advantageous for you. Or you can, like with a different character, try something else. You get the idea of what I'm talking about for that. The other thing, of course, with Lucio, as you should state, as you know, is the ability to use, his amp it up is one thing. The cooldown on it's 12 seconds, so you do have to time it well. You'll see in a lot of cases, I use it mostly for healing, because I feel a team that is continually getting some health regeneration is a team that continue its offensive output and like patrolling and holding ground. Like that you saw that Lucio used a super and we were in trouble. I just tried to heal up as many of my teammates as I could until I died there. But I tried to primarily use that amp it up and crossfade in the healing style. That's what I choose to do. You can, of course, switch it up, like I was saying, for earlier reasons, for mobility reasons, if you want to get to an objective quickly after you died, or if you just want to get away from an area that's being bombarded by a super. A lot of these matches I was playing in here, I probably would have tried to communicate with my team to see exactly what they would have wanted, but I was solo queuing, so I tried talking to a few of them and forget it. Nobody has a mic or they don't want to talk, so I can just sort of, what I tried to do is sort of look at how they were playing and match my style to that, with also not degrading my skill set as well. That's how I tried to approach that situation. But the best way I feel, especially in solo queuing, is to just go for healing. There's no one on Earth that's not going to appreciate a little bit of healing. They might not like the speed up, but they will like the healing. When it comes to using his ultimate, which of course buffs shield by 500 plus, and it degrades every few seconds back down to your original health. What I like to do for that, of course, is you want to make sure that as many of your teammates as possible are not only within range, but that they can see. Wait a minute, I don't think so. Oh yeah, it is within line of sight. So yeah, it is within line of sight. So you want to make sure that the number right in the center by your crosshair is as high as possible, up to 4 to 5, I'd say. That way you're taking full advantage of giving this buff to as many of your teammates as possible. And the reasons why, or the areas I like to use it most, are when you're going to be right on the objective holding it, or you're making a push directly for the objective after like a death or two. And you want your team as strong as possible because you know the incoming wave is going to be intense. Oh, or you could use it if you're losing, or I guess the third reason you could use it too is if you know that a teammate or an enemy had just popped the super and you know your team is going to be taking a hit. So you could use it and try and tank the super. And I believe there are quite a few supers out there that you can tank. I'm pretty sure, like Roadhog, you can tank. Genji's Dragon Blade you can tank. You might be able to tank Pharah's Barrage, a couple of other ones as well, like probably Soldier 76s. So you can time that for an enemy team using a super. You can time it for getting to the objective as quick as possible or holding the objective. And one last thing, I like, personally, after experimenting it for a while now, I personally like, because you know that your shields are going to be increasing anyway, I like flipping to the speed boost when I deploy it. Because if the shields are going to be high, you might as well give them mobility as well with the high shields, because you can just flip over after that's done and combine it with amp it up to heal any damage that's been taken after that. I think it's the most optimum way of doing it. Of course, if you disagree, ball out the way you want. And that's sort of the way I've been doing it. And of course, I'd be remiss to not bring up the fact that Lucio not only can wall ride, but in the latest patch that just came out as of, I think it's later July here, Lucio can now really wall ride. And when I mean really wall ride, I mean like he can pretty much climb those pillars that you're looking at there almost to the top in some levels. And of course, you could probably find scenarios where wall riding is not only advantageous to you and your crew, but you could probably find, look at that lag, you could probably find some levels where Lucio could get like super high on those pillars or the walls, and you can get behind enemy lines early even though you're not having much damage, or you can just make sure that you're a harder target. Because that's how I like to play Lucio as well, as I've been going through the process, and I feel I've gotten quite good with him now. This isn't the best gameplay to show it, but in the future I'll post when you'll see, you're like, oh, this guy's pretty good. I think that's my favorite way of doing it. Wall riding just makes you a harder target, it makes you unpredictable. It serves as a distraction, because a lot of the time when you see people shooting up into the sky at someone who's a hard target, well, they suddenly don't really have a lot of defense. You can now pop them in the face and that'll be it for them. So just distractions sometimes play a much larger role than actual offensive output from you as well. So think about that too. Sometimes if you're a sniper sitting on say the far right of a map, and your teammate are on the far left, if you've got a couple of guys shooting at you, you the sniper on the far right, their guard is down, they're not looking at you, their offensive output will not be generated toward you or your teammates, so you can take full advantage of that. Maybe you can flank them, maybe you can shoot them from where you are. It's always the sort of cat and mouse game, and that's why I've always really liked games such as these. That's the best way to describe it, I guess. Lucio, of course, should be played in a manner, like in this case here, you always want to use amp it up with speed to try and get to the objective as quick as possible. Get yourself in good position to maximize that offensive output. And if you're keeping track at home for maximum offensive output, you should be taking shots. You'll probably be drunk by now from the amount of times I've said it, but I do feel it aptly describes what I'm going for. So I don't care if it repeats. You want to stay within close range of your team. I've said it before, I think, as well, so take another shot. You can get within close range, but you don't have to be right beside them. Like, I mean, survival is paramount, because when you die, the amount of time that you're down, that's when your team doesn't have that mobility or health regeneration. So survivability is paramount. In these maps here that have ledges, you can try and pop them off the edge. He just caught the guardrail there and didn't go down. But I do believe I get a few in this gameplay, so you'll get to enjoy that. So yeah, to sum up with Lucio, you definitely want to stay within range of your teammates, yep, there you go. You want to stay within as much range as possible of your team, because that way you get that proximity health regeneration, and within eye range or sight range you get to buff their super. Spam your weapon, make sure you're healing, make sure you possibly, if you're communicating with them, try and give them a speed boost, see what they want, see what they like. Because Lucio, at the end of the day, I've seen so many people try to lose Lucio as an offensive firepower kind of guy, and it's even saying that out loud to anyone who's seen Overwatch a lot, you'd be like, what the fuck? That's so bizarre. And it is, because he just does not have extreme damage output. So I have no idea why anyone would want to try and treat him like he has extreme offensive output. Your job is to keep your teammates alive, keep them more mobile, and maximize their offensive output, and that is your first and only job if you want to be a successful Lucio player. Stay mobile, avoid shots, help your team, ball out. Have a good one.
Well executed, gentlemen. Come on, I think I played pretty well.